So, I really do want to have a respect for our speaker that we have brought in. He didn't have to do this, but through connections and networking, Jocelyn knew his friend, and then in turn I connected with him. And if you guys don't know, this is Mark. And Mark is a huge social media influencer in his area for Riverside. So if you guys want to follow him, you guys can do it right now. It's called Mark from Riverside. And then I'm just super excited because we really want to pour in value to you guys. And we told you guys every first Tuesday is going to be an all-hands meeting with awards. The second Tuesday will be a guest speaker or a producer in some way or a huge mastermind and stuff like that. So I feel super honored to have him here because he's a fellow Star Wars nerd. And we have a lot of same traditional tattoos. And I usually wear a hat or beanie, and I'm just not going to match you today, all right? So let's give him a round of applause if you don't love him. We're already live, right? Are we live? Okay, cool. So I'll let you just introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll go into I'll ask you some questions about before real estate, and we'll go into that before we got some stuff. And then you can go into content tips. Yeah, a little bit about yourself.
All right, so let's dive in.
Yes.
Thanks for allowing me to be here. I'm excited to come out. So I'm going to obviously talk about social media. I've been a consumer and a student of social media since MySpace days, before Facebook. The last 15 years I've worked in media and publishing. I was the head of product development for an Inc. 5000 publishing company and a national trainer. In about 2015, they asked me and a good friend of mine to create a real estate magazine for them. I've done 6 other magazines for them. So I spent 6 months investigating top real estate agents in 115 markets all over the country and kind of figure out if we did a magazine for a community of real estate agents, what should we do? And out of that birthed the Real Producers magazine. You guys have seen that? And then the Real Producers. So I created that back in 2015, and like I said, we launched it in 115 markets all over the U.S., including the one here in Inland Empire. One of the reasons it grew when we went over 100 markets in about 3 or 4 years is we were really heavy on social media. And so as a student of social media way back, I started doing podcasting and daily and weekly blogs in 2013, 14, when video was new to social media. And so I've been a student and watching the growth of social media and seeing where the attention is. Because as a business owner, when you're looking at branding yourself or branding your company or your product, it's all about finding where the attention is and then how do I get that attention and how do I keep that attention. That's just a simple way of putting it, what we're all trying to do. And branding is the way to do that. And what I love about social media is that most of the attention is all in one place, which is amazing. You don't have to go back that far, even 2012, 13, 14, where the attention of the masses was in a handful of different places, right? So there was some attention on TV, there was some attention on radio, there was some attention in direct mail, there was all maybe 5 or 6 main places where the attention was, and you had to pay for all those things, and they're really expensive. It's expensive to put out a TV show or a radio program or print 5,000 direct mail pieces, and so you have to pay for it. You're the one who pays for all that. And most of those things, it's almost like getting 5 nets and throwing into 5 different parts of the ocean and pulling the net out. Hopefully there's some leads in there, and maybe there's a customer in there. And it's really expensive. What I love about social media, what's happened, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, is that most of the attention is in 1 to 2 places, and it's free. It's absolutely free. It's just the most amazing part of that. So I started, like I said, was in publishing, went really heavy on social media. When we started the first Real Producers magazine, we were doing a weekly blog where we basically documented the process. So we would do a video shoot and do a 5-minute episode of that actual photo shoot, and the whole thing was documented, putting the magazine together every single month. And social media video was really taking off, and that was a big part of it. So 2020, when COVID hit, I launched Inland Empire Real Producers magazine February of 2020, and our first event was supposed to be May 2020. And that's really where we make our money, because we bring vendors out that get to connect with top real estate agents. And not being able to do events for 2 years, we didn't make money for 2 years. So I kept that magazine alive for 2 years. We came out the other side of COVID. I went through some major life changes myself. I came out of publishing, no longer worked with Real Producers. And I actually got my real estate license in 2021 because I've been in that world, and I thought, all right, I'm coming out of this publishing world. I want to do something different. I've been in real estate. I've connected with just about the top agent in every major market in the U.S. I've heard the story of what it takes to be a successful agent. I've been an entrepreneur since I was in high school. So I got my real estate license. I closed 5 homes in 4 months. I did not like real estate. But what happened was when I started in real estate, I had a personal Instagram account. And as an entrepreneur myself, I grew up in Riverside. I went to school back east. I moved back to start Inland Empire Road Producers 6 years ago. So I moved back to the city I grew up in. So my personal page, I started doing the videos on local businesses, just for fun. Friends that I went to high school with that now run a sandwich shop or now have this type of business. And I did it because I love media, I love social media, I love telling stories. And I just kind of started doing it for fun. So when I got my license, I'm like, this is a great way for me to get the word out of who I am and brand myself, make connections and relationships. I was like, I want to be the expert of Riverside. So if someone wants sushi or they need a chiropractor, I want them to think of my name and I want them to ask me. So I started doing that when I was doing real estate, those 4 or 5 months, and that took off when I decided I didn't want to continue in real estate. I said, you know what, I'm going to start a media company and I'm going to go all in on this social media. So for the last year and a half, I posted a reel almost every single day on a local business in Riverside and charged $0 for a year and a half. I did that for free for the last year and a half. Now I'm at the point where I have 2 partners. We're a full-scale marketing agency. We do everything from branding to rebranding to videography, web design. We do it all. But my account, Mark from Riverside, has kind of been the catalyst that's helped start that, which, like I said, was birthed out of me doing these daily reels to get my my name out and my brand out of being a real estate agent. And that's kind of how it started.
Absolutely. So, who's heard of IT Top Producers? Show of hands. The magazine. Any producer would raise their hand. Like if you're a producer, you know IT Top Producers, they reach out to you and stuff like that. So, have you guys?
Not the top producer, the real producer.
Oh, the real producer. Sorry.
The top producer is one that makes you pay for it.
The real producer.
The real producers is free.
Yeah, not that one. The top producer you pay to get free coverage. The one that he created is one that has actual content where they invite you to be featured on there. And what I like about his specific magazine that he created is that they get real stories from realtors and they really humanize our industry. Instead of just, you said something earlier that really stuck with me. And you said that a lot of realtors gear their content of sharing the stories about themselves and their successes instead of their consumer.
Yeah.
And that really did stick out to me because a lot of people, who knows that, someone that's just constantly voting, right? A lot of people, but a little bit about yourself too. So you founded that magazine and how many followers are you on in social media right now?
Right now it's about 47,000.
And it's all organic. Do you guys know that a lot of people are purchasing followers now? So a lot of people have fake followers and they purchase followers. So for him to build a platform that's organic is phenomenal. Like it's super.
It's a good way to know if someone bought followers if they have 50,000 followers and 500 people watch their videos. So they bought that number at the top. It's a good way to know if they did. But we've never paid for an ad, never even boosted a video on there. But I have kind of 3 tips that you want me to go into about social media. What I've learned over the years and what I've implemented when I started Mark from Riverside. So the first one is that people follow people. And that's as being an observer of social media and where it's come from. I was one of the first social media type people that I started following. His name's Casey Neistat. He's considered like the godfather of vlogging and YouTube. He started doing a daily vlog in like 2013, 14 when nobody was doing that on YouTube. And I looked forward to his videos. I followed him. He was interesting, but there was always something about, the video wasn't necessarily about him. And I found myself looking forward to his videos. I was following him, but he was giving me content that wasn't necessarily about him. And if you think about your Instagram feed, right, or your TikTok feed, there's probably a few people that come to mind in there that you follow or that you watch their content, and you're following them. They might be talking about fitness or food or something else, but you could there's probably 3 or 4 things that they're doing consistently all the time that you're picking up, wearing the same clothes, they have the same catchphrases. There's things that they do that pique your interest. You have some similar things that you like that they like, but you're following that person. And in the game of social media today, especially in 2024 where we're at, people follow people. And as myself, starting this as a real estate agent and with you guys working in real estate, running a social media account, your goal is obviously first to get people to watch your video, right? And then if they watch your video, you want them to get engaged. And engagement means they're liking it, they're commenting on it, they're sharing it, and they're following you. Now they're engaged. You could post a video that's unique and weird and get 500,000 views, but if they're not liking it, commenting it, and sharing it, are following you, they're probably not going to see you again. So what you're looking for isn't just views, but what you're looking for is engagement, people that are actually following you. And so people follow people. There's a really good book that I read that really kind of painted the picture for me of what this looks like and what it is. It's called Telling Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. And the book is about building a brand, right? So whatever the product or services you're using, he goes into some really key points about building a brand and telling your story, because people want to do business with companies and people that they believe in their story. Especially now, especially with millennials and where we're going in the future. People that are buying, consumers, are interested in the story, they're interested in the person, they're interested in the feeling, they're interested in the emotion behind it, not just the product or service. We live in a day where there's so many options. Good service is just expected. They're not like, where can I find good service? Like, that's expected. I want good service, I want a good product, I want it to work, I want them to do what they're supposed to do, but they're looking for a story, right? So in Telling Your Story Brand, he uses Star Wars as an analogy. Big Star Wars fan.
Ooh, Star Wars.
Darth Vader on my t-shirt. So he talks about the hero. Who's the hero in Star Wars? Let's see. Who's the hero in that story? Yeah. So say Obi-Wan Kenobi, right, is the hero?
Obi-Wan.
He really is, but he makes Luke Skywalker the hero, right? So Obi-Wan, he has all the knowledge, he has all the information, he knows who Darth Vader is, he knows Anakin, he knows about Yoda, and he takes this young kid, Luke, and it's like, I'm going to make you the hero. I'm going to put you in a situation where you're going to save the universe and you're going to do all these things. And he even lays his life down to Darth Vader, right, and allows him to be the hero. The number one mistake right now that businesses are making in their social media is they're making themselves the hero of the story and not their customer or the person that they want to work with. Especially with millennials, they see through, if you're not genuine, they see through that level of arrogance that they're not interested in. They want something real, they want something genuine, and they want to be the hero of their story. They don't want you to be the hero of their story, they want to be the hero. So if you look like some businesses in the last 20 years that have done that really well, like Apple, if you remember an old marketing campaign they had where you're a genius, you're creative, and they had people like Albert Einstein and Martin Luther King, they would flash images of these different heroes. They would say, you're a hero in your own world. You deserve to use our product because you're the hero. They didn't come in and say, we have the best product, we're the hero, and we'll make you a hero. No, you are. I'll just help you, like Obi-Wan. So it's a really good book. I definitely recommend reading it. But that's the number one mistake people make. And so knowing that people follow people, they don't want the hero, they'll follow people that'll help make them the hero in a sense. And so with my content, I do daily videos on businesses in Riverside. Most of it's food because everybody eats every single day. But I'll do from a sushi place to a chiropractor to a pool company to a door company, pretty much any type of service business as well. 90% of it's food though. And in those videos that I'm doing, even though I've branded myself and I've done some very intentional things to brand it to where people recognize my videos, I've had people tap me on the shoulder at a store and I turn around like, I recognized your voice because I So I've done some very intentional things for me to be the brand and me to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I don't. I want to make them be the Skywalker. So the people I'm doing the video on, and I'll show you a couple videos, the story is about them. I'm telling the story of that business, of why she started baking tamales in her house, or why they wanted to become an optometrist. I think I'm telling their story. So the number one thing, first point, is people follow people. And so that means on your social media account, you becoming who you are on your social media, right? And on my account, even though I'm telling stories of other businesses, I'm sprinkling in myself. And so if someone's followed me for the last year, they probably know I like Star Wars, they know that I collect vinyl, I collect cassette tapes, I'm really into music, they probably know I'm in a new relationship, they know I have kids. I just sprinkle those things in very little here and there, and most of it's on my stories. But I guarantee you people that are engaged, they know all that stuff about me, because it's really weird, because they talk to me in public. They're like, oh, I saw you this and this and that, and it's really weird. But that's part of the reason why they follow me. And they're not going to my page like, oh, I want to see Mark. They're like, I want to see what business Mark is going to show me today. It's not even, I want to see the business. Like, I want to see what business Mark is showing to me. So in the last year and a half, my goal was to become the expert in Riverside. And I get asked every single day through a text, in person, or a message, I need a chiropractor, I need this. Who should I use? Who do you trust? I need a place to get pizza. So that first point is so important, that people following people, and figuring out how to sprinkle who you are in your social media. And stories is a great place to do that because the people watching your stories are the people that are following you. If you post a reel, if you have 800 people following you and you get 2,000 views, it's a lot of people that don't know you. The goal is to get them engaged and get them over there, but those people watching your stories, they know you, and so you be a little bit more personal there is usually my suggestion.
You also, have you guys, I mean, phenomenal information so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what you guys don't know is like, I think the expert thing that you did is not give up because you had also launched very successful magazines. But would you mind in this setting sharing how you rebranding yourself in 2020 and a little bit more personal what happened?
Sure, yeah. So I worked for that publishing company for I guess about 13, 14 years. I was the head of product development. I created the Real Producers brand. I was a national trainer, so all those 115 publishers that we put in markets, I recruited, trained them, and was coaching and mentored most of them. So I was very involved in that publishing company, and then launched the Inland Empire Real Producers magazine here. I think I mentioned here we launched it in 2020. So that thing got off the ground. We really make our money through those events because that's where we bring the vendors in, and then they come on board. And so we put that magazine out for 2 years, basically not making money at all. We kept it alive. Lived off of savings for 2 years, hoping that California was going to open up at some point. Went through a divorce at the end of that, and then found myself, left the magazine, was no longer a part of that, and found myself at about 46, 7 at the time. What am I going to do with my life? Got my real estate license, like I said, closed 5 homes really quickly, did not like real estate, I knew that's not where I was supposed to be. And so at that point, I remember thinking, what am I going to do? And I had that social media account, and I saw, as someone that had been, like I said, a student of social media, and I helped a lot of other people with their social media accounts at that point, I said, I know exactly what I can do with this and where I can take it. So it was all very, very intentional. But then I spent the next year and a half doing that for free, still essentially not making much money, but I knew now I'm monetizing it. I had paid partners for a year. They signed up for a 12-month contract, so it's fully monetized. And then the media company, I started with 2 partners. We have that off the ground. We're bringing in new clients almost every day. But to answer your question, yeah, there was that point of coming out of a world in a certain lifestyle and used to being in a certain place and finding myself having to start over and just completely, essentially rebranded myself.
I think I wanted you to share that because a lot of people are doing that when they go into real estate.
Yeah.
They're so used and accustomed to corporate America or whatever world they're used to, and then leaving that world behind to come into a new industry. And this is someone that's done it, and not only that, you're successful in a different avenue. You're successful before in the publishing world, and I'm sure a lot of you here are successful and have multiple degrees at top 4 or successful in other industries, and then you transition over here. And this is someone that's done that, and it's okay to do that. He found something he's passionate about, and look what he's created. I think another thing too that we're missing is like, you keep saying that you did it for free, which you did, but I know for a fact, and I saw in your videos, you changed a lot of lives.
Yeah.
Like, would you touch on that?
Yeah, and that's just, I touched on before, being just the power of social media where the attention is in this one place or these few places, and it's free. It's unlike anything we've ever experienced in history before, where there's so much attention. The bad side of that is that a lot of people know that, and so there's a lot of nets in one spot, right? So the nets all over the lake, there's a lot of nets in one spot, so it's really, really noisy is the hard part. But the benefit is when you do it right, when you do it well, the results that come are just unbelievable. Where so many stories, like there's one, Riverside County, you can get a micro enterprise home kitchen to sell food out of your house. So I had a woman reach out to me, she messaged me, she said, can you come do a video? I sell tamales out of my house every Saturday. She has 4 kids, she lost her job at COVID, and everybody loved her tamales, so she started selling them, and she sells them a couple hours on Saturday. And so I went out and I did a video. I think I checked it yesterday, it's over 650,000 views on that video. She had 892 followers when I posted it. Within 3 weeks, she had 16,000 followers. I think she's up to 17,000 followers in 3 weeks. She went from selling tamales 2 hours every Saturday and Sunday to 7 days a week, and she's booked out for 6 months in advance. Completely changed her business. Another one, a Filipino family that sells food at their house. I just did another video on them a few days ago. I did this video probably 6 months ago. Kind of lost contact with them. It did well. I think it has about 400,000 or 500,000 views, and then a couple hundred, like 100,000 on TikTok as well. And I ordered some food from them the other day, and the whole family came out, their 4 kids, and I didn't know any of the story. They just told me, he said, Mark, when we reached out to you to do that video, we were 3 months behind on our rent. We were about to lose our apartment. They immigrated from the Philippines, they have 4 kids, they were healthcare workers, they lost their jobs during COVID, and couldn't get another job, so they started selling food out of their house. Tiny little crappy apartment with 6 people living in it, and they're selling food 7 days a week out of there. He's like, we were 3 months behind. He goes, we were really about to lose. He's like, you were our last hope. Like, we saw the video you did for Menezes Casino Mexicano with the tamales, and he's like, let's just message this guy, see if he comes out. So he showed me they're very strong Christians and believers. He said, we've done so well since you did that video, which I think was about 7 months ago. He said, he showed me his statement. He's like, and he wasn't boastful, he was very happy. He's like, I've been able to give my church $10,000. And we went from 3 months past due on our apartment, really like, they were like, it's a matter of when we lose it now. So a lot of stories like that, but to even just like what happens on a normal basis, like I did a video on an optometrist. I did one video, I say only, but it probably only got like 40,000 views. And
it's a lot, yo. Almost 20,000 people looking at your stuff.
I posted it in the morning. She messaged me that night. She's like, we got 5 phone calls today for new patient inquiries. And then by the next Monday, she had 2 bookings from one 15-second video, which doesn't sound like a lot compared to the other one, but I mean, you guys have all done marketing, direct mail pieces, and that type of thing. There's nothing else where. And every time I post a video for it, it does at least that. Like, that's the minimum. They get a handful of leads, they get a small handful of customers almost every single time. So that's the power of social media. And then I'd say the second point is a little bit more practical. So people follow people, being yourself in the video, making your customer, your client, they're the hero, not yourself. And then the second one being to find your format and repeat it. And if you think about the people that you follow on social media, like I touched on, there's some consistent things they do. So I went all in when I started this. Before I did it, 90% of my wardrobe was black. Now 100% of my wardrobe is black. It was genuine, it was authentic. I've always worn black, but I got rid of everything that's not black. I wore a hat 80% of the time. Now I wear a hat 100% of the time. So I went all in. I went all in who I was, because I knew I was creating a brand. I knew people follow people, and I knew I needed to create a format that was consistent, because that's the social media world. They're looking for consistency. Like some of the accounts I follow, there's this one guy, he does food reviews, and he doesn't have arms, there's like little elbows, and he like taps the food. Everybody's seen him. It's weird, it's funny, but you know, like have a hamburger, and he's like this real quick tap on it for he eats it.
Oh, I've seen it on TikTok.
I love it. He does that in every video, and every time he does it, I get a little adrenaline rush, because I'm waiting for it, right? And so
waiting for the tap tap.
Yeah. And I bet you're thinking in your mind, people that you follow on social media that do those little things, and that gives you a little like adrenaline rush when you see it. You follow them, you're interested in them, you want it. It's just the psychology of it right now. And I compare it to, so I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and so I grew up on like sitcoms, right? TV sitcoms and TGIF and all that stuff. And if you think back to that world, that was our internet, that was our YouTube, that was our social media. There was one thing on at 8 o'clock at night, and that was it. Everybody's watching the same thing. That was everything for us.
MTV.
If you think about those sitcoms, there was a theme song at the beginning, right? And if it was your favorite show, what happened when that theme song came on? You're like,
Oh, you're singing it?
Yeah, you're singing it, you're excited, your adrenaline's running, because that's that song, it's telling you what's to come, right? And you follow that show. You know, you like the characters, you have a favorite character in there. It comes on every 8 o'clock on Saturday. You know the consistency of it. The consistency is comforting for you. You know it's going to be there, type thing. And then the characters have catchphrases, right? Like Steve Urkel, Family Matters would say, "Did I do that?" You know, there was all these little things that was a formula for sitcoms that kept people interested and kept people watching it. And the same thing exists in social media today. So when I created my account, I have very specific things that I do in the same videos. And if you think about the biggest creators, people you watch, they do the exact same thing. And for me, it just evolved because it has to be genuine and authentic, right? If I'm like, I'm just going to create a character and be someone I'm not, it's probably, unless I'm really, really interesting and weird, it's probably not going to work. But it kind of evolved. I would notice I did certain things naturally, and then I just doubled down on them. Like I say, "Oh yeah," a lot, and I noticed I was doing that on videos, and then someone actually said to me, and we're talking to me in public, like, "Oh yeah, I like when you say, oh yeah." At the beginning, like usually if it's a restaurant, I go up to the sign and I have a swoosh sign that does it. I do that every single time. At the very end of my video, and I'm taking a bite, I walk off camera and I come back in and look at it, and I do something, I walk out, and I do that every single time. There's little things like that, and then people say it, like, oh, I like when you do that one thing, or they'll comment. But it's the psychology of so it's that finding your format, and once you find it, repeating it. And so for me, it took a while because it has to be genuine, authentic. But once I found it, then I just went all in on it, and I do it every single day.
Sounds a lot like prospecting. You're finding something that works for you, and you do it repeatedly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can apply this to anything in real estate. I'm like a huge fan. Do you want us to, we have your phone, I could connect it if you want to show videos.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Will you screen share it? Here, let me,
Oh, no,
I do this. Just stop.
Or you can put mine up on there.
Oh, yeah. I can just,
So while she's doing that, I'll give you my last point, which is to be patient, but don't be patient. So I found that everything in life is about balance, right? Like everything wants to be red or blue or like there's all these divisions, right? But the secret is in the middle in the balance. And
oh, oops. I'm in the
so
wrong account.
whether you have your account now or you're going to start an account or you're going to start going all in, just to be patient, right? As you're finding your format, as you're finding who you are and putting your stuff out there, is to be patient in it and just don't look at the numbers as well, because the numbers are all relative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like my numbers are at the point now where if I only get 5,000 views, I'm like, dang, I only got 5,000 views. But then I think about, what does 5,000 people look like in person? That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think about 5,000 people.
I-
Like imagine, or say you're getting 100 views on your video right now, right? And that's really discouraging. But what if you went door knocking on Saturday and you had 100 doors that answered the door, talked to you the whole time, and took your business card? That'd be pretty valuable. 100 people do that. So to think that 100 people watched your entire video, and then if a couple of them followed, that's like you texted them or emailed and they responded back to you. Right? You went to 100 doors, talked to 100 people, and like 2 of them actually talked to me now. So if 2 people followed you from that video or liked it or commented, if you look at it in those terms, then it helps the numbers kind of put that into perspective.
Before we go to a video, could you kind of talk about what you spoke about in the room earlier about,
Yeah.
you know, when, like those first seconds that you're
Yeah.
getting engagement and then kind of taking the air out of, you know, the process?
Yeah, the millennial pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Videos.
So,
then
so some real practical stuff, right, with making reels. So reels are, for Instagram, reels are the most important thing. That's where everyone's doing this on the phone. People are watching reels. Stories are second. Stories are easy. I know a lot of people that are lazy, like, but I post a lot of stories. People that follow you are seeing your stories, not people that aren't following you. You want to reach other people, right? Think of your stories, you're talking to your friends, your followers, and the reels are you're trying to get new people to become your friends, if you look at it that way. The biggest mistake I see people making with reels is that first second half is the most important. And I know you all do it, right? This is what you're doing on your phone. Oh, like that one? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks interesting. Nah. That's what you're doing, right? So that first second and a half, if there's someone that doesn't follow you, is when you're going to get their attention. It's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. So if this is when the camera's on, it's like, hey guys, and that like second and a half right there, like 99.9% of people just went like that.
Yep.
But that first second, your voice is starting, almost feels like it's too soon. So it's like, hey guys, like immediately, right? Whether that's how you're starting, or if it's a movement, or whatever it is, there needs to be some kind of action, something happening within that first few seconds. You don't want to take it too far and be super gimmicky and feel like you're selling something, because the moment they feel like you're selling them something, they're going to scroll. And a lot of people are spending on, and I have a production company, we do very high-end video, but for reels, don't want to use that. People are spending a lot of money to make very professional looking videos and posting them as a reel, and it looks like a commercial. It looks like a very expensive company did it. People on a reel want something that looks real, that was made in someone's backyard, someone's kitchen. It looks natural. It's not a sales pitch. It's not professional. So I actually dumb down my videos and focus the quality on my reels. I don't use a regular camera. I use my iPhone. I don't use a gimbal, so it's a super speed shot. I want it to look just very, very natural. So that first second is super important. And then if you pause, and if you're talking, if there's a pause anywhere in there for more than a second half, so if the pause is like, people are just skipping right away. So even in my videos, I've gotten good at not having a lot of pauses, but when I'm editing it, I just edit those pauses right out. So it's just going all the way through. But keeping their attention is so important. I'll show you.
too. I think you.
Was there anything I didn't say that I said in here about that?
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
when
the-
you have multiple shots or like multiple videos that you're
Yeah.
editing
So
together.
if you're editing, right? So like,
Oh.
so this video I'll show you in a minute was probably, it's a coffee shop in Riverside, and there's probably 18 minutes worth of footage from my shoot, and that's probably broken down into like 8 or 9 different clips, like 2 minutes here, 30 seconds here, 6 minutes here. And then I take all that down, I'm gonna edit that down to 30 seconds. I don't wanna, your reels should be 15 and 30 seconds. If they're longer than that, people aren't gonna watch them unless it's just amazing. But even mine, 30 seconds is the longest. And in this 30-second video I'm gonna show you on this coffee shop, there was probably 18 minutes worth of footage. I brought it down to about 30 seconds. And each one of those little clips, believe it or not, is less than a second. My average is 0.72. So it's like 0.72, 0.72, 0.72, and I edit all those together. And that constant change is keeping their attention and keeping their
And Mark, you edit this from your phone.
I shoot,
He
edit, post
literally-
all from my phone.
So is everything on his phone?
And it's
For those of you that say, I don't have camera equipment, I don't have this, I don't have time. You're
Yeah,
already there.
everything's on this.
Is that an iPhone?
Yeah.
iPhone's the way to go.
Well, up until last week, I had the iPhone. What's the new one? 15?
Yeah.
I don't know, I still got a 10, I don't know.
I skipped the last one, so I built that whole thing on an iPhone 13 too. I just got that one.
The power of iPhone.
So you'll see immediate grabs your attention, very small clips. I'm making the customer the hero of the story, not me. I'm in it a lot. I'm branded. Like, you're going to be who I remember as far as the visual, but you're going to walk away with the coffee shop and who they are.
You have to turn up on your phone, I believe, the volume.
Yeah.
So it's in a historical home.
You turn up your volume on your phone.
Coffee house in Riverside, Cafecito. So it's in a, check out the newest coffee house in Riverside, Cafecito. So it's in a historical home downtown Riverside that was built in 1895. It has a quiet, cozy feel with a Latin flair. There's upstairs and outside seating. So the owners were inspired while visiting Columbia to bring this to life here in Riverside, and they worked on it for 3 years. I went with the churro latte, and that thing was delicious. Then I went with the lemon bar because lemons are life, and it did not disappoint. I'm telling you, you want to check out this new coffee house Riverside, Cafecito. Oh yeah. Check out the newest coffee house in Riverside, Cafecito. So it's in a historical home.
Show the big one.
Insights. If you know what insights, when you go to the video, a few insights, and it'll give you all the specifics. So 224,000 people watch this video.
Wow.
And then 23 people said to a friend, you have to see it. And that's kind of low on my mind. But still, if you think about it, 23 people watched the whole thing and then told a friend, hey, you need to watch this video. Especially thinking about what you guys do. Obviously, you want to get the attention of the people, but they share it with their friend and tell your friend, hey, you should check this out. 18 people saved it, but are saying, I'm probably going to go to this place. And then 439 people liked it.
Out of curiosity, I know it's like the gender, the majority of the views were what?
On gender?
Yeah.
It's I think it's like it's pretty close, but I think
Oh,
it's
yeah?
like 52% female.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But it's pretty close, 50-50.
That's so cool.
You've
That's
got
weird.
One more.
Your bagel and tomato.
There's one on a bagel shop.
Bagels, Riverside, gotta check out River Bakery, they're amazing. So this is Callie Shield with a home-based bakery. It's a meticulous 3-day dough process to bring these bad boys to life. They have a crispy outside and then a delightfully soft, chewy inside. I'm telling you, go follow their Instagram, order online, pick them up, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you guys see, like, with the video, how quick did he start talking? Immediately. Bagels. Okay, where? You got me. Bagels, what? See, I didn't pause and went directly into that.
And honestly, too, you'll find when you're building a reel, you'll feel like, oh my gosh, this clip of video is only 0.27 seconds. It's not fast enough. But when you watch it all together, it goes by so fast. Your eye tracks it, and especially if you're doing a voiceover over it, you're getting out like a lot of information. You're sharing, a lot of different visual stimulus, and it's keeping people engaged. So like, don't second guess yourself when you're building your reels. If you're like, oh, it's just going to be like through a bunch of different like little images, it really does work. And like always, just view your draft before you post.
Here's the tamale, the Maria's Casino Mexicana.
Well, the best tamales and ceviche I have ever had. This amazing family in Riverside started a micro enterprise home kitchen, Maria's Cocina Mexicana, authentic, delicious Mexican dishes. I got pork and chicken tamales, steamed tacos with chicken, a potato, and a bean, and then that fresh ceviche cooked in that lime juice. I was absolutely drooling, and I wish I had some of it right now. And then the best cucumber lime agua fresca I have ever had. So Riverside was the first county in California to pass the micro enterprise home kitchen. Allows you to cook and sell food at your home, and this family is killing it. Give them a follow, order ahead because they will run out.
It's cool because it's interesting because at Keller Williams we have a saying that says money is good for the good it can do, and you just proved that you don't need money to do good. I think the biggest takeaway of this is that social media is accessible for everyone and it's free, right? You said that you did that content for free and utilized your following, your power to help people.
Yeah, and I was broke.
So you were transitioning out of a relationship, right? Giving the business up, and then you were broke, as you said. I don't know, but you didn't give up, and you still continuously posted videos. Can you speak on that for those of people that may feel like giving up in here?
Yeah, I think the thing that helped me, not just in this, but in that major transition in my life was I went from, doing what I was doing was so focused on the businesses that I was doing it on and not me, that it became really difficult to feel sorry for myself. It became difficult to be aware of my own even circumstances, because I constantly came across people that are like, man, that they're in tough situations too, or I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I've come across businesses like the Filipino family where they're like, they didn't see a light, like they didn't see how that could work out. Even though I was in that place, I knew from my past, I knew from like all this I had planned out, I knew where I would be able to take it, but at times I felt very hopeless and like, this is going to be a long road, and it took a year and a half of doing it for free, really, to get to that point. But I think the major thing for me that I realized was by me not focusing on my own circumstances and focusing on these businesses and their stories, it not only helps the content, it helped the page, it helped the viewers, it helped all that stuff, but it helped me as well, because my life always felt a little bit, if nothing else, I felt really good that day because I helped someone else, and then that made me feel better. And then that just turns into just a snowball effect, right? It's like I feel better about what I'm doing. I want to do it more. I want to do it better. I want to do it again. And the more I did it, the better I did it, and the more success I found. And it's amazing what will happen when you take your eyes off yourself too, and put them on someone else. And to be at the point now where on the 27th, I actually just found out yesterday, the mayor of Riverside has the State of the City address at the Riverside Convention Center. And I just found out yesterday I'm going to win the Innovator of the Year. I say that to say it's just amazing to, and I look back over the last 2.5, 2 years, and I would probably attribute it to that key thing being the thing that really got me to the point of just taking my eyes off myself. And then it's amazing how it comes full circle, like with Obi-Wan Kenobi, like he's my favorite still. I like him better than Luke. Luke was a hero, you know. But he laid himself down and he put someone else in that situation, and really the attention kind of came back to him, but in the right way, not in the wrong way.
That's absolutely phenomenal. I think that's I really can't thank you enough for even being here, first of all, and sharing your story and success. I do have a quick question, because I'm sure people are wondering, have you always been comfortable on camera?
I think
did you just have you always been for the camera? Did you always feel comfortable posting?
No, I remember.
Because I think a lot of people look at this, I'm sorry to cut you off, and they're like, I could never do that.
No, in college I took a speech class, we had to do a speech. And I was, the second that I signed up for that class, I was terrified. And I remember getting up there and having to do it the first time, and it was awful and just terrible. But I've had a lot of practice over the years. When I worked at the publishing company, I had to run classes and trainings and then speak at conferences. But that thing, no, I was terrible.
Any advice for those people that are starting to get into videos? Like, what would you tell them? What you discovered now? I
would say, because not everybody not everybody's even gonna be great on camera, right? Like realistically. I think everybody could do it, but everybody could do it to a certain extent, and maybe you're just putting yourself on there a little bit, but just start, you don't have to start off doing today what you're gonna do 6 months from now, or a year from now. And if I go back and look at my first videos, I wasn't even in my first videos for the first month. And actually, the first time I was in a video, I was doing a sandwich shop in Riverside, and I was like, he went to have lunch, I'm like, okay, I need to shoot this food, but do you mind? Take 20 seconds, and I shot the restaurant, talked to the owner, and I came back, and he's like, right, let me video you taking a bite. And I'm like, no, man, I don't like being on camera.
He's like, we did it to me.
At that point, I practiced doing it, and I knew I'd be okay, but I don't like it. I'm an introvert, like I'm good in situations like this, but like B2B, those types of meetings, like social events, I hate those, 'cause I'm a major introvert. But he's like, no, you really should do it. And I already knew I should be doing that, because I already knew that. And I was like, no, I'm gonna get through it without having to do that. I'll just do a voiceover, and it'll be, I know that's better, but I'll make up for it. So he's like, come on, just do it. I'm like, fine. And then I did that video, and I was editing it, and I was just cursing him all the time on the cat. This is a lot better. But my point is, I didn't start there. And I go, even the editing, when I look back at my first videos, I look at them and I'm like, man, those were terrible. So don't think you have to be today where you're going to be in 6 months or a year from now. Just do what you can do today. The editor I use is VN, like Victor Nancy editor. It's in the App Store. It's like $50 a year. You just pay for it. It's super easy. So I shoot all my stuff in just my regular camera, and then I'll give you some tips too. So if I'm going to have like 12 clips, right? I'll go on my phone first and I'll watch them all. And if I don't see anything I want in there, I delete it. If the next one, I'll put a heart on it because I like it. And then I'll delete the ones. I might get it down to 6 videos now. And I pull up my app, the VN editor, and you just import videos. And I go to my favorites because it's going to show me the ones I hearted. And it should be the first ones that pop up because it's the most recent thing I did. And I just pull those in. But before I pull them in there, I want to get rid of the waste, right? The stuff I'm not going to use. And then as I'm going through those 6, 7, 8 clips, I'll watch that 2 minutes. And sometimes there's 2 seconds here. I'll find like 5 seconds. I know I'm going to cut that 5 seconds down to 1 second, but I'm just looking for 5 to 10 seconds, good seconds. And I'll pull all those out and then delete the rest. And I do wood carvings. It's a lot like carving a spoon or carving wood. You're just shaving it down until you get to 30 seconds. Sometimes when I start, it's like 12 minutes. And at first that was super overwhelming. I'm like, how am I going to get this 12 minutes down? But now it's just, I do without thinking. But don't be overwhelmed. You don't have to be today where you're going to be in 6 months. You'll get there. And it will evolve. You'll find those things that are you. People will tell you. Ask people that know you too. Like, hey, watch my videos. What do you think? Or some of them are, why are you making videos? That's weird. That's what I got.
You're gonna get some haters.
They're like, you're gonna be an influencer? Like what? I got a lot of that. I'm like, no, I'm not an influencer.
You are.
Yeah.
You influence a lot of positivity in your community. He's very, very known for giving back in Riverside. Like literally even his tagline being Mark from Riverside and becoming the local expert. It's a lot of things you're saying I can't help it as a TL just related to real estate. Like you should be your local expert too.
And it was birthed out of me doing real estate.
Exactly, and it birthed out of that. And I think what's awesome too with what I got out of our conversation on the phone and here is that it's okay to start over and rebrand yourself, I think. Even for me, that was my biggest takeaway. It's okay to switch gears and rebrand yourself. I mean, this is 2020. I know it affected a lot of people moving here too from your industries or in real estate. It was like a great year in real estate, but it was an influx of realtors coming in, right? So I think it's a great reminder for those of us in this room that it's okay to rebrand ourselves and to find what we're comfortable with, but you have to find it and do it repeatedly. Because for a year and a half, this man did not give up on posting a reel a day. Every single day, no matter what was going on in his life, he did it. And I think you saying paying attention to the consumer, the people you're helping, helped you forget about your circumstance, is a lot of people in this room can relate to you, Mark, because in real estate, sometimes we have our personal lives and our mental health and things that we're dealing with, but focusing on the families that you're helping or the people that are in front of you, that's detrimental, I think, to forgetting what you're going through. And I always say to them, be here now, be there later type of vibe. So I'm getting so much information of you being here.
So thank you so much for making the drive
Yeah.
all the way over here from Riverside.
And post every day.
There you go.
Every day. A reel, not a story. A reel.
Yeah, I was gonna get into that.
Stories are extra, right? But
Yeah.
if you really want to build an account, get engagement, get people following you, get people to turn into leads and turn into customers, you need to be posting a reel every day. Because I don't think I said this in here, but when you're making your video, you need to make it for two people. And you need to make it, the first person is the algorithm, and the second person is the person that's gonna watch it, and not for yourself. Some people make them for themselves. They're like, I like 5-minute videos. I like really long edits. I like these things. You're not making it for yourself. You're making it for the algorithm. And the algorithm is paying attention to the person watching it. Because at the end of the day, it's as sad as it is, the algorithm, the social, Instagram, Meta wants people to do this for hours and hours and hours. They want people that will, the longer they're on there, the more money they're making. And so the algorithm is looking for accounts that someone will watch the whole video and then watch their next video. Because if you think about the times you get sucked into Instagram or TikTok, you're like, I was on that girl's account for like 20 minutes, or that person's account. I just watched like 20 videos. The algorithm's so happy when you do that, because you're less likely to stop, right? It's like now you're in the zone, versus the mindless scrolling. At some point you're like, I'm distracted. But you find that account, you stay in there for an hour, 30 minutes. So that's why one of the reasons you need to post every day and have engaging comments. Because every time, you have another minute or two, or okay?
Oh no, we're great on time. Please.
Basically what happens when you post a reel is like the algorithm takes your video and puts it out in front of a test market, basically. So say it's gonna put it out in front of like just them four on the wall, right? So I post my video and it just showed up on their phones. And the algorithm's looking for a handful of things. Did they watch the whole thing? And you can look at your metrics, it'll tell you what your average watch time is. So it's like a 30-second video. So your average watch time is 17.4 seconds. It'll tell you what your average watch time is. So it's looking, did they watch the whole thing? It's looking for really that number. The higher your average watch time is, the better your video performs. If two of them liked it, score just went up. If Jocelyn made a comment, score went way up. And if she shared it with a friend, the score just went way up, because now it's going to get someone else addicted to it, basically, bringing someone else into it. So those things are just, so if all those things just happened in that video, now it just sent it to the whole room, because like that video did really well, let's give it to all of them. And then that's how video goes viral, because now if it performs that well here, it puts it in front of the whole office, and if it does well there, it puts it in front of the whole block. And that's why a video will go viral, it just keeps going and going and going, because it's constantly sending that to a bigger group. So if it does well there, and then it just craps the bed here, that's why you're like, man, my videos are good, and it just died. Just lost its momentum. As long as people are commenting and engaged on it, it's just gonna keep sending out. I have a video that's been a month, and it just won't stop, it keeps going. But it didn't skyrocket, it's just been like this. Like, it was at like 20,000 views, and I didn't even realize because I get a lot of comments and stuff, so I don't realize when a video from the past is hitting, and I went back once, like, that thing has 220,000 views, I didn't realize that was happening. It just kept going and going.
220,000 views. What is the most amount of views that you've had?
I think the tamale one was, I think it's just under 700,000 on Instagram, and then TikTok is like a couple 100,000.
Wow.
What's the difference in the viewings for TikTok and Instagram? What's more beneficial?
It depends on the business. I'd say for your guys' industry right now, Instagram, for sure. Instagram is more consistent. Take like my Instagram videos, I can pretty much know where it's going to be in views. TikTok, it could be 2,000 views, it could be 200,000 views. It's very inconsistent on TikTok. And a lot of my viewers on TikTok are not followers. Or on Instagram, it's more of a lot of my followers are. There's so much entertaining content on TikTok that it's a lot harder now to go viral on TikTok. It's a lot harder to get engagement on TikTok, because TikTok's turned into like a cable, television cable.
It became a TikTok shop.
There's so much,
It became a QVC.
so much content on it.
I know I bought something.
I just love it.
Instagram, you definitely want to be on TikTok and post your same reel to TikTok is fine, but Instagram is for sure right now.
How long do you think is like the normal attention span of a person?
Like for a reel?
Yeah, I heard it's like 6 seconds, right?
Yeah,
So you have to like make them.
I think it's even less on
Even
Instagram.
less.
Yeah, if you lose their attention in a second or two,
Well, how long does a person have to watch a video for you to get a view?
I don't know the exact number, it's like the longer the video is, there's like a scale, right? It's like a 30-second video, there's like, they want to serve, I don't know all the percentages exactly,
Okay.
but I know it changes the longer your video is.
The longer you do it.
Yeah, but if you look at Instagram and most of the reels, like for what I do, 30 seconds is
I
really.
think, yeah, if you make it too long, it's no good.
Yeah, 15 to 30 seconds is my window. Keep it.
And you said earlier in the room that you will purposely look at several clips and pick like the best milliseconds.
Mhm.
So would you touch on that a little bit, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so like with the
Coffee.
coffee shop one, so I probably had 15, 18 minutes. I watched them on my phone. There was probably 20 clips. I cut that down to probably 10 clips because there were 10 that like there's nothing in here I'm going to use. I took those clips over. They probably averaged a minute to 3 minutes long. And then I cut those down to about 5 seconds. Sometimes there's a 5 seconds here in a clip. Sometimes one clip has a couple different pieces. So I'm just cutting out the middle. And then those are now 3 separate clips. And then, and I go through all of them and do that. I have a bunch of 5 to 10 second clips. That's maybe like 6, 7 minutes.
Wow.
And now I'm just like carving this thing. I'm like, all right, okay, in this 10 seconds, what's the best 2 seconds? And then I just keep doing that until it's about 30 seconds.
How long would you say it takes you to actually cut the content down?
The first video I edited was 2.5 hours.
but it's important because then you get good at it.
Yeah, now I can edit like the bagel video in probably like 10 minutes. Yeah.
So it takes starting to do something. I heard you said you're starting it,
Yeah.
whether you were good on camera or not.
Mhm.
You decided you made a decision, you're gonna start being in them. Then you made a decision to pour into your business for 2.5 hours when you first started, then eventually got so good at it that that time went down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And as you get good and get used to doing it too, before I was just shooting everything and like I don't know what's going to be good. Now I go into knowing what shots I'm like, all right, I got that shot, I got that shot, I got that shot. And so instead of having a 5-minute clip of the sign and 20 versions of it, I want to get 2 options of everything, so like 2 5-second options instead of a lot. So you know what you need and you're editing while you shoot, is what they call it.
Yeah, of course.
Question. I know you're editing the videos and everything. Do you have a specific time to post it? Like you do in the morning, afternoons, or?
Yeah, so right now, and for the most part, if you go and ask, most people are saying right now that like either like between like 7 o'clock in the morning is a good time, or like after 6, 7 o'clock at night, between like 7 and 9 at night is a good time. And usually between like 7, 8 in the morning. So you're catching them before they go to work and school, and then like 7, usually I'll post about 7 o'clock at night. People have had dinner, they're sitting on the couch, or they're watching, they're not at work, they're not at school, they're not eating a meal. They're usually in between that time. Because if you catch them in the morning and you get a good showing in the morning, then it's just all day, it's gonna keep putting it out in front of people. That's one of the reasons it's important to do it at a certain time. If you post it at the worst time, you're gonna get a bad showing basically at the beginning.
What's the worst time?
Video. Huh?
What's the worst time?
Not this time.
Just use anytime during the day. And it's not hard and fast, like I've had some videos where like I need to get this video out, or I'm like, this isn't an important video, I'll just post it at 2 o'clock, and then it goes crazy. So it's definitely not 100%, but.
One more question. What would you, like say if you're averaging like 500 to 1,000 views, how would you put that into the thousands?
The first thing I would say is to, one, have the perspective of, obviously you want more numbers, right? But to realize like what that means, right? To have like 500 to 1,000 people watching it. Because like, I get discouraged now if 6,000 people watch it.
You have
10,000
different averages.
people. Right. But then I think about what 6,000 people looks like and how they're watching my whole video, right? And if I send a direct mail piece to 6,000 people, I know how much I'm gonna pay for that, and I know 99% of them are gonna throw it away. How many of them are gonna read my entire direct mail piece? Maybe almost none of them, right? So to think even 100 or 500 people watched your entire video, right, is one, to realize how powerful that is. Obviously you want more.
I'm grateful, but I
Yeah.
want to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say there's
The number one thing, you just start with the consistency, because that's easy, right? Everybody can post every day. It's harder to post great content, good content. So one, start there. Make sure you're posting every day, get into a habit, figure out, and if you're the one shooting it and editing it, because your schedule is gonna be the hardest, your biggest enemy, right? And everything else you have to do, so whether you time block or put it in your schedule of when you edit and when you post. If you just rely on, I'm gonna get to it at some point during the day, you're not gonna do it, because most people don't like editing or posting. Like there's very few, I don't like it at all. So I have to schedule it, I have to put it, time block, put it in my schedule, or it's not gonna happen.
So it's on your calendar, it doesn't exist, Mark?
Yeah, so consistency, start with consistency. If you're doing that, then here's a good tip too. Look at other accounts that are doing something that you're doing and find the ones that have the most views and just study it like a student. Like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And everybody borrows and copies from everybody. That's just
Rip off and duplicate.
find out. I mean, I can name a whole handful of creators that I stole this from, I stole that from, I stole that from. Yeah, so start.
You're not the only one tasting food, but
Yeah.
you're doing it at a good level.
Yeah. So
Copy clever.
consistency, and the consistency will automatically make you better, right?
Right.
So if you're consistent, you're just gonna get better by doing it. And if you're a student, you're watching other people, and you're looking at what works, and you're implementing that, and you're doing all those things, you'll just start to see it grow.
Yes.
I have a question. So you post every day, so are you posting a business every single day?
So,
A different business every single day?
so 90% of it's food, and then I'll do other businesses. So for 2024, for this year, is I fully monetized. End of last year, I started charging. For restaurants, I never charged, because that's literally my bread and butter. That's what everybody watches. Most of them are small businesses. They don't have a huge marketing budget. I want to help them. I'll never charge for them. But the chiropractor, the dentist, the optometrist, the roofer, those businesses, now I'm charging them. So now I'm going to post twice a day, starting this year. So I'll post a food video every day, and then I'll have a sponsored ad. But my sponsored ad will look exactly like the other ones. It'll be edited the same way, everything will be the same. It'll just be an installation of a garage door versus a pizza. And I'm charging for those.
So, are you going to venture out to other cities when you run out of restaurants to interview?
Yeah. Yeah, get it back.
That was my concern I had early on, for sure.
Just gotta-
I think there's millions of Ursa now, right?
But there's so many.
There's too much, right?
I'm gonna try to phone.
And I get, oh, thank you. I get messages every single day of people asking me to come there or telling me to go there. I have a huge,
That's too fast.
I can't get to all of them, even just in Riverside.
And then sometimes they call you back, right?
And I'll go back to some of them 6 months later.
I'm gonna pop up whenever. I don't know where it's
So I did, I'll just touch on this real quick. I started a second page about 4 months ago with a good friend, Justin Hudson. That hat I wrote, the heart, one love by
I know him.
He started that brand. It's out of Riverside. And so we started a page together. I think we're 4 months old. We have 18,000 followers. on
Wow.
that one. And we post,
Wow.
ours is more like we're creating a show. So it's episodic. They're longer. They're like a minute and a half. We're only posting 3 days a week because it's more of a TV show, kind of what we're doing. But we're going all over the Inland Empire. He's been a good friend of mine and 2-1 California Entrepreneur of the Year a few years ago, and we talked about doing something together. He's like, hey man, let's do what you do, like, and make it a show and do it for the whole Inland Empire. So we're only like 4 months in, and our numbers aren't here even just killing some of my numbers. Like we had. We did a home bakery in Rialto. She does a micro enterprise home kitchen. And I think between TikTok and Instagram has well over 1 million views. And she actually got shut down by the city because the line was long after we posted it. And all the neighbors complained because, yeah, and for this page that keeps happening. And it's happened for mine too, where restaurants have to shut down for dinner, they run out of food. There's so many stories like that. But with the bakery, it's going to turn out into a cool story because it looks like she's going to get an actual restaurant, which was her dream.
I think another thing that you didn't mention is the small business that you met the mother lady, there's other influencers that are trying to charge her. I mean,
To post a video?
yes, she's reached out to influencers to help her business because they were struggling, and they're demanding like $500 to thousands of dollars. And she was the first person to say, "I'll do it for free."
It's good to chill.
I mean,
That's my favorite F word.
free.
That's correct.
Free, everybody.
Yeah, here's,
Right, before, can I say something really quick?
You next question?
No.
Oh, no, don't leave yet. When we wrap this up, I'll get
Yeah,
him up here. We have another influencer.
yeah, this was a testimonial from Maria at the, with Molly.
Aw.
She talks about how she reached out to other people in there.
You guys have any other questions?
I do.
Yeah, please.
Mark, when it comes to marketing and making something easy to remember, do you recommend, for example, as realtors, like art in a realtor or just art in person, which would be easier for people to grab and to connect to? Because I tell them that a realtor, another real estate, they just skip it, right?
Yeah.
But, what would you suggest to that when it comes to, for those that are going to be starting fresh or even if you're not doing it ourselves, what do you recommend?
I would say, probably at the end of the day, doesn't matter. It's not gonna make or break it, I'd say just go what you feel comfortable with. Like, I don't think, all these other things are gonna be what matters, Like, sometimes like a band will, like their name, like will be so focused on, you think of some of the band names that, popular here's weird names, like the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl, he was like, man, if I knew that band was gonna take up, I would have never named the Foo Fighters.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, OG Shar.
Mark, I have a question for you. So I have quite a few pages, and I was told some years ago that you should have like a personal page, a business page, and not mix the content. Is that something that you would agree with or disagree with?
That's a good question, and I think the answer is different for different people. For me, it's the same. Like, I have a personal page and I almost never post on that anymore. But I'm very intentional of just sprinkling in my personal stuff. I know some people that are nothing personal. So I think it just comes down to being genuine and authentic. For me, I want to sprinkle some of my personal life in there. It's natural for me to do that, and so it works. So I know people, I think the answer is totally on you and what feels right to you, for sure.
And part B to the question, should I delete? Because I'm looking to rebrand myself. So would it be best to delete my pages and start another page?
Is the content on the new page gonna be completely different than the old one?
Yeah. Because it'd be more geared toward being a realtor.
From your personal account already?
No, I was just gonna, I'm not
Or was it
gonna
a
do
different
anything on
business?
this. I was just gonna delete the pages that I have
Mhm.
and hopefully create a new page for like my new branding.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely. Well, you have a question?
Yeah, you had mentioned a book in the beginning. Do you mind repeating that title of that book?
Story brand.
Oh yeah, Telling Your Story Brand.
Telling Your Story.
Donald Miller. Another good book is Jab, 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 Right Hook, by
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Jab, 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 right hook.
I'd say the two books that most inspired me for how I do what I do is Telling Your Story Brand and Jab, 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 Right Hook, where the basic message of that book is, he talks about the jabs are like 3 jabs and then coming in with the right hook, right, like how a boxer does. And the jabs he compares to helping in business or in some type of relationship, helping someone out, right, for free, but without any expectation. I had an old mentor that used to teach me that you give someone in order, like that person knows you, like old school business, like you do favors, but then you expect them back. But in that book, he talks about genuinely giving and helping another person, helping another business without any expectation. And if you do that genuinely, you do that 3 times for someone, just a little jab, I helped you a little, helped you a little, helped you a little. And then a year from now, you're like, man, I really need help. And that person has what I need. And you come in like, hey, you think there's any way? And they're like, absolutely. And then they come in, that's the right hook. Where you just did 3 little things. But the key to it is that you're not doing that in order to get that right hook. But it's a good book. And that's a lot of how I based and why I go through that 1.5 years. I was like, I know this is going to pay off. I know this is going to be worth it.
Well, I mean, let's give him a kid and be like, don't leave yet. We have another entrepreneur in here. He's my homie right here. Come on, man. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. So if you want to do some, Mark, I'm going to meet with you. Can I get the card, please? I'm sorry. Do you have the envelope? Yeah, my thank you
Oh,
card.
I see her trying to drop it off.
I
just didn't want you to drop your stuff.
I have a thank you card.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. I needed the books. That was what's.
All right, so, hi everyone, how are you?
It's a, the one with red light on.
Hi, so this is our family friend, Ivan. He's amazing. He's like a referral partner. Like I've been able to service some of his family members in real estate. And so he's amazing. He actually is a local Riverside restaurant owner, Mark. Yes. He is. So maybe you heard of his restaurant? What is your restaurant called?
I have two. Aimipa and Fuego Hibachi.
Okay.
Yes, so he has Ay Mi Apa and
Fuego Hibachi?
Fuego Hibachi.
You're on my list.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're both in Riverside, and you have a small.
Well, I started with Smog. That's my bread and butter. That's where I started. But I wanted something different, so I invested in restaurants. So I'm an investor of my partner Ruben. I'm the biggest investor, and we opened 2 restaurants together, which is Fuego Hibachi and Aimipa. And now we're going to open more Aimipas in like Bakersfield, and we really hit very hard. And we're trending since we opened. We've been open for like a year and a half. Hit very hard. Then we opened Fuego Hibachi, which is not on the same level of Aimipa, but we're still making money. So since Aimipa is so successful, we're gonna branch out and open more. But since I'm not there every day, because the deal was I was going to be the investor, I wanted to do something different. I'm tired of Smog. Still makes me a lot of money, but I'm tired of it. So my little brother's taking care of my shop. So what I did is I opened a carniceria recently. That's where I'm at every day. I'm trying to grow that, and because I just can't stay at home not doing nothing. I feel like I don't even have to work no more because I have, thank God, a lot of businesses, but I have to do something. And to me, it's not even about the money anymore. It's just having the satisfaction of being successful. The carniceria, it's a huge. It's not successful yet, but I want to reach it. I want to get to that point to where it's successful. So that I'm just shooting for success now. It's just the feeling, the gratification of making something from nothing to something. I feel like everything I've done, I've been very successful, and I'm very thankful to God. Very thankful to the people that believed in me, like my partner Ruben. I admire him. I should have invited him today. He's the one that should be speaking. He's a bad boy, you know. I gave him a lot of my money because I believed in him. And he sat me down for a meeting, and I walked out of there thinking I'm gonna sell my house and give him all my money. He is amazing, man. Like we'll sit down in a meeting, and whenever we want to rent a place for like Fuego Hibachi or whatever, even the landlord told me, I have 1,000 buildings and I want you in all of them. That's how good he is at speaking and motivating, you know. So I hope.
Listen by them.
Yeah, I already texted you.
He's amazing. I think he should be the one that's here. But I mean, I feel like Aimipa is very successful because it's 4 of us partners, and all 4 of us bring something to the table. And I feel like I only have like 1,500 followers on Instagram, but I feel like every single one of them have done business with me, and every single one of them have been in my restaurant. So if I have 20,000, but I don't know 18 of them, then that doesn't bring nothing to the table, you know. But I feel like all 4 of us partners brought something huge to Aimipa, and that's why I brought people from these eyes. Then Ruben brought these eyes, and then the other 2 partners brought different eyes from different places. And I think that's what takes you to another level when you bring different types of eyes. That's just what I.
So tell us about your family. What's your family like?
Well, my family, that's how I started business, because one of my uncles was doing smog checks, and his technician went to jail, so I told him, hey man.
Well, we're gonna cut that out.
Yeah, what if I get my license? He's like, yeah man, get your license. I got my license, and fell in love. I've never been in love like that. I love the smog check business so much, man. And honestly, I did a lot with it. I'm very good at saving money. I bought a house very cheap in 2009 for $114,000, and then I used that to my benefit later on, you know, to use that money to invest in other things and stuff like that. So in my family, I feel like my uncle is the only one that has done business, and then I feel like I took it to another level, to be honest.
And do you have children?
Yeah, I have 3 kids. My oldest is 17, my son is 13, and I have a baby. She's 1. And I feel like now I have like my uncles wanting to name their kids after me and all that. But no, the kid north of Lava, you know, but now, I'm proud, you know. I'm proud that my mom is proud of me. You know, we accomplished something, and I feel like if you don't shoot for it, you're not gonna do it. You have to risk it. When people ask me, what can you tell me about business? If you don't do it, man, if you don't try to do it, you're never gonna do it. Risk it, you know. You have to have the risk. If you don't take the risk, you're never gonna win. That's basically it. You know?
Tell us about. I want all of us to visit his restaurant.
Yeah.
Mi Papá, tell us about it. Like, please go on your Instagram and follow him. Mi Papá,
MIPA.
AYMIPA. I'll write it. Actually, write it.
The enchiladas are all.
Oh, thank you. So we just added. We have Banda Tuesdays, and we just added Mariachi Thursdays.
Banda Tuesdays is my vibe right there. yeah.
I feel like we needed a different vibe for Thursday, so that's what we didn't want to do Banda twice. So we got Mariachi, and this last Thursday was our first Thursday, and we did very good. So we're very happy with it.
It's Fuego, right?
Fuego Hibachi.
I went to Carniceria because we want to support that.
El Campeón Carniceria.
Are they all in Riverside?
Yes. And my partner for El Campeón he's a former boxing world champion, Robert Garcia. Now he's a trainer. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's my partner for La Carniceria. El Campeón. Carniceria. So,
El Campeón.
E-O.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Campeón.
Oh, oops.
Campeón.
Sorry about that. Okay. El Campeón.
Our brunch is the best. You guys want to try our brunch?
I mean, you have great social media, so on IMIPA, you guys are scrolling, you guys have already came across the restaurant itself.
Yep,
Like, they
he's
have
good at
amazing shows to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries. It's local in Riverside. It's
How many people can you host in there?
Like for one party or like the whole? How many people fit?
Like a large party.
I think 50 probably.
50? 50.
Because we have a whole half that we've done. I think 50 the biggest.
Thank you.
I'm thinking of contests for top agents in here. Yeah.
Another thing too is Mark's still here in the room. He's leaving business cards. Did you bring business cards? Yeah. So he's leaving business cards, you guys. He also does consulting and marketing, and Mark's.
We could hire him to do our.
So Mark, he's here for the realtors as well. So he does his cards, right? So if you guys have any questions for any of these two, so let's bring them both up back here. And
Hey, it's all about Riverside.
If you want to talk more about what you do, like I'll let that. What services you offer? And
Yeah, so we're a full-scale marketing media agency. So we specialize in, our two specialties are branding and social media. So my one partner, Mike Berger, he's, you can't walk Riverside without seeing his logos, from the Loft to the Lobby Restaurant downtown Riverside to the brand new Mark building. So he's been doing a ton of branding, national stuff for many years. And then Chris owns the head of photography for CBU. So we specialize really branding and social media is our expertise, but we do everything from videography to web design and all that as well. I wanted to mention something that was interesting. So what was your name?
Oh, Charlene.
Charlene, I met you, right?
Yeah.
At Chili's? Oh, yeah, so it's funny.
We work together, yeah.
So here's a funny story that relates to my message, which when I recognized her as I was talking, I said, man, what a full circle moment. So when I started Mark from Riverside and went through a divorce and basically lost everything, 5 to 6 nights a week while I was building it, I worked waiting tables at Chili's, so that's where
And he knows with Charlene. Charlene goes, I know him, I work with him at Chili's. Then when she saw him, she goes, I remember his tattoos, that's him.
the color eyes.
Yeah, so to get through that first year and work for 3 years.
You know what? That's respectable, decent work. Good for you. Good for you.
But when I saw you, I was like, wow, that's a full circle moment.
Like goes to show you, sometimes you have to be willing to start over. Like both of you have been willing to start over at some point, right? And now you guys are running very successful companies, and I'm so grateful to both of you for being here and pouring back into people. I know you're being
Ivan had no idea he was going to speak today.
Well,
We're reading about something
well,
else.
you know better to bring someone in front of me because I'm going to pull them up.
You're a great speaker.
As soon as he saw me, he shook his head. I'm like, I'm going to pull you up here, man.
I have no idea.
And the pulpo at your place, delicious. That's my favorite dish right there. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Which one?
The pulpo,
The octopus.
Yeah.
octopus, yeah.
Oh, octopus for those of you that don't know. Right. That's super cool. So you guys have any questions about the journey? We're going to wrap this up. Any questions you guys want to ask personally? Don't forget to follow them both on social media. Today's class is social media. Take out your Instagrams. If you found value in them being here, a way to thank them is to follow their social media pages and just start liking some videos to help their engagement go up. Can we do that for them? Can we do that for them? Yeah.